Hey everyone. So before we get started with this video, it has been quite a while that I have been trying to get to work on this car. There have been many issues with the Honda Accord 2010 model year that I have been working through. So that's the reason why this video took so long to get out there. But now that it's out, hopefully this video will provide as comprehensive of an overview to installing the backup camera in your Android head unit. There may be some deviations depending on, where you got the generic Android head unit from or your particular type of vehicle. However, generally the process should be pretty similar. It's essentially just placing the camera where you would like it to be mounted, running that yellow composite cable. The housing is yellow from the back of the head unit to the back of the vehicle itself, powering the camera and connecting that red trigger wire from the RCA cable so that it is powered when the car goes into reverse. So yeah, that should be essentially a very brief overview of what we are going to get into in this video. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them. And as always, let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all are having a great day so far. So when we last left off this install, we just installed the Android head unit and we relocated the old display to this bottom portion right here. And something that I mentioned during that video is that if you were planning to implement any peripheral devices, such as a backup camera, for example, then you would want to route those cables first so that you would be able to continue with that installation later on instead of trying to do it all on the same day. So that is what we are going to be continuing with today. Down here is where I routed the cable, and generally when you are planning to install a backup camera, I have a cheap one right here, you want to take a look at your vehicle from an interior perimeter perspective and begin to plan out where you are going to be leading that cable towards the back of the vehicle and around, as well as how you are going to be routing that cable through the trunk space and through those grommets there to make sure that all that cable is going to be routed in a specific way so that you know exactly where you're going to mount the camera and where all the cables are leading. So that is basically, like I mentioned before, what we are going to be focused on today. So on the camera itself, depending on where you buy it from, it probably doesn't matter. There's going to be a female RCA connector here, which is going to connect directly into this male yellow RCA connector here. This red wire being connected to this red wire on this end of the cable, and the black wire being directly connected to the reversing light. So basically what that means is that whenever the vehicle is set into reverse, it's going to be supplying power to this cable and ultimately to this camera, which will provide visibility towards the back. And that's how the backup camera would work. So let's go ahead and begin routing this particular cable. So from here, the routing of the cable really depends upon the vehicle you are in. And just in going over this 2010 Honda Accord here, basically we connected it from the bottom. We sort of mounted the cable along this back side of this trim piece. And then we routed that cable across this area, so across the OBD2 sensor and behind this plastic piece, underneath this plastic trim piece, going all along the sides here, making sure that the cable is more or less not visible. Going ahead and folding the seat down if it wants to fold down. We were able to continue navigating this cable behind the trim and behind the seats, folding the seat down coming around to the outside of the vehicle and continuing to route the cable under these protective covers underneath this protective area right here, and then down here. And then from here we were able to remove this plastic piece, and then going underneath the car, might be a little bit hard to see, but there is a plastic grommet. Kind of hard to zoom in on this, but there's a plastic grommet right here. Focus, yeah, it's very hard to focus. That literally just pulls out, and from there you are able to navigate that cable around and then push it over to the front with the final result being something like this in the back. So now I'm going to attempt to show how the wiring is done here. So over here from the back, I have the camera, and of course it's power cable here, also connected to the yellow female RCA jack. And over here is where that red wire from that cable, that yellow cable that we ran from the front, is going to connect to, along with two other red wires I have here, which I'm going to go over here in a second. And if we move towards the back over here, we can see that, apologies for the shaky camera, this red wire is also connected directly to where I tied the wires over here under that blue wire tie. And if we continue to follow that along with that one, it looks like sort of a pink wire that's connected there, over to the back. That is for the positive connection. And right now it's connected to the reverse light, and I have them connected with cable ties in this wire nuts, actually, in this orientation right here. It's sort of difficult to see, but I'm going to pan over once again to show you how everything is connected, and hopefully that would be a good enough visual. So panning over it once again, starting from the grommet where the camera enters the vehicle, we have its power connector, which would be connected to the other power jack over here. So that red connector down there would be connected to this power jack. Then following along here, we have the red wire on the RCA yellow composite jack that's connected with this wire tie. These other two wires are following along this way over to the side and up, and then red being connected to those blue wires, and black being connected over to the black on the back of the reverse light, as we see here. So continuing on with the installation, on the back of your head unit, you're probably going to have a wire that says reverse on it, and this wire is going to connect to that red wire on this yellow RCA cable. You need to connect the signal wire over to the reverse lead. The image is displayed, so it really would just depend on your particular configuration and making that work for you. So that was essentially the installation process for a generic Android unit reverse camera setup in a 2010 Honda Accord. The process, like I said earlier at the beginning of this video, should be similar to most vehicles. It's just a matter of running the cable, making sure that it's not crimped so that the video signal is not interrupted, making sure that that cable is not visible, that the camera itself is being powered correctly, and that signal from when the reverse light is triggered is properly communicated to the head unit itself. And that essentially involves, like I said, making sure that red wire, which is connected to that yellow composite cable on the Android head unit side, is going to be connected to that wire that is labeled reverse. So if you are having any issues or have any questions regarding the installation, feel free to leave a comment and then we can try to solve it together. In any case, thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Take care.